Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I am Coach Ray, and as usual, thank you for joining me on your Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. All right. So for today's class, we are going to need access to all three sticks. So I have 2 long sticks and 1 short stick. The theme of the month is still working with macebells. So last week when we did macebells, we did a simple 10 to 2. And we worked with a little bit of a chopping motion. We are actually going to effectively build on the 10 to 2 drill that we did last week, adding in a side lunge alongside with it. And then we're gonna do an uppercut, well, it's kind of like an uppercut drill, but it'll be a little bit of a flow. It's gonna be fun. However, to start off with, we're gonna go through a full body warm up. We're gonna start at the feet and ankles first, since we are gonna be doing some dynamic movements with the macebell. So that's something to kind of prepare for. And to cool off, we are going to kind of go through a full body cool off. We're going to work from the top down. So we're going to get into traps, neck, upper back, get through all that. Let's go ahead and get started first with the both long sticks here, folks. So I'm going to step back. We're going to start at the feet and ankles first. So I'm going to take a wider than shoulder width stance, and I want my feet to be pointed forward here. Now I'm going to get into this horse stance here, and I want to make sure that my spine is stacked over my pelvis, right? We don't want the spine in front or behind. We want everything stacked nice and tall. The bottom of the sticks are angled in towards me, and my hands are at roughly shoulder to rib cage height. And from here, I'm going to bring both heels up nice and high here. Both heels down. Keep your heels hovering off the floor here. Then up. And we're just using the sticks for balance. Heels down. Good, up, down, up, down, excellent, up, hold. Now with the right foot, we're gonna do lateral shifts. So I'm gonna shift my right heel out, away from my midline, and then shift in towards my midline. Shift out, in, out, and in. Back to center. Now shift that left heel out, in, out, good, in, out, and in. Back to center, heels down, nice and easy, good. Now we're gonna get into pelvic tilts. We're gonna really quickly go through this here. So hands are set up at the same height. Now we're gonna create some force driving into the floor. So drive the sticks into the floor, about roughly 20% tension. I'm gonna do a posterior tilt. So I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, drive my knees apart, and then I'm gonna go into an anterior tilt. So you should be feeling the lower back tissues fire. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Anterior tilt, drive those knees out. Posterior tilt, anterior tilt, hold that, or posterior tilt, sorry. Hold that posterior tilt here. We're gonna go lateral hip bump, so bump the right hip up, then left, right, left, right. Still driving those sticks down, left, right, and left. Back to center and ease off. Now we're going to take a wide stance. Both sticks are going to be on the inside of both legs here. Figure out whatever stance is most comfortable for you depending on your mobility. Now from here, I'm going to have one hand up higher, the other hand lower. So my right hand is going to be up towards about roughly face height. My left hand is going to be roughly about rib cage height here. From this position, I'm gonna lightly drive both sticks into the floor, only about roughly 10 to 20%, keep it light. And I'm gonna lunge to my left, and I'm gonna bring that left hand across, pulling back with the right hand. So I'm getting rotation, I'm getting a stretching adductor. Back up. Let's go again. Lunge to the left. Back up. Excellent. Lunge to the left again. Breathe. Back up. And Now we're gonna switch sides. So from here, same thing. Right hand's lower, roughly around rib cage. Lunge to the right, bring that right hand across. Up. Good. Let's go 2 more. Drive those hips back. Really try to sink into that right hip here. Back up. Let's go 1 more time. Lunge to the right. Excellent. Back up. Ease off. Wiggle those feet in to a shoulder width here. Toes are going to be pointed forward. We're going to go with extension and rotation. So I'm going to have both sticks roughly in line with my midfoot here. Hands going to be roughly about shoulder height. From here, I'm going to lightly drive the sticks down about 10%, and I'm going to drive my hips back, reaching out with my hands. So this is going to be the first position here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull my head back, and I'm going to rotate both sticks to my right. Make sure my head clears my shoulders. So I'm getting quite a bit of rotation here. Come back to center. Now rotate to the other side. Back to center. Rotate to the right. Good. Left. Right. And left. Back to center. Come up and ease off. I'm going to place 1 stick down. Okay. We're going to get into the ninja flow. Now for this, you just want to go with wherever's comfortable. If your shoulder starts to get a little funky, then reduce your range of motion or change your hand position. For the ninja flow, you want to make sure that your hand, as you're lunging to the side, is in line with your shoulder. So I'll actually show from the side here. So let's take a wide stance, whatever's most comfortable. I'm going to have the bottom of the stick on the inside of my right foot. Right hand is up roughly around forehead height. Now from this position here, I'm going to lightly drive the stick down, and I'm going to hinge. Now notice where the stick is lined up. It's lined up with my shoulder here. All right, this is the first position. I'm going to hang down with this left hand, try to get it towards the floor. If you can, get it to touch. All right. I'm going to reach across on my left hand, thumb facing down towards the floor. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull apart, and then I'm going to lunge to my left. So my hips are driving back. I'm getting a lot of rotation in that right, in the spine, and I'm getting a stretch in that right chest and shoulder area. Come back up to center, and then lunge to the left again. Back up. Still keep pulling apart. Lunge to the left. Excellent. Back to center. Let go with the left hand. Come up. Nice and easy. And now we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to turn forward here. I'm going to do that same thing. 6 on the inside of the left leg here. Left hand is up. Drive that stick down. About 10 to 20% tension. We're going to hinge back. Get a nice hang here. Breathe. Take that right hand, thumb facing down towards the floor. Pull the stick apart. Lunge to your right. Good. Back to center. Lunge to the right. Back to center. One more time. Lunge to the right. Back to center. Let off nice and easy. And wiggle those feet in. Wonderful. We're going to place the long stick down. We're going to grab the short stick here. So we're actually going to do an internal, external rotation, push-pull with the stick. So I'm actually going to turn around for this one. Now, whatever hand is up top, that's the hand that's actually, or the arm that's in external rotation. That bottom arm is going to be an internal rotation here. So I'm going to take the stick, I'm going to go with a thumbs down grip with my top hand. I'm going to go with a thumbs up grip with my bottom hand. Now how far is going to be, again, this is going to depend on you. My shoulders are typically pretty tight, so I don't get a whole lot of range here. But you want to start with whatever range feels most comfortable for you. and I want to keep contact with the stick. So the back of my head is touching the stick here. But what I'm going to do from this position, I'm going to squeeze my glutes. I'm going with a roughly hip width stance, and I'm going to pull the stick apart at 20%. I want to try to lengthen the stick here. Make sure you're breathing. Now try to compress the stick. 20% as well. We're just trying to warm those shoulders up. Good. Lengthen the stick, pull apart. Breathe. Compress the stick. Good. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Let go with the top hand. Now we're going to switch. So I'm going to bring left hand up and over. Switch those hands. We're going to be at 20%. Same thing. Pull apart. Try to lengthen the stick. Going good. Breathe. Excellent. Try to shorten the stick. Breathe. Good, good. Pull apart. Lengthen. Good. Compress. Three, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. We're going to slowly come out. Now, we're going to go with a fingertip grip on the ends of the stick here. Going to go with a roughly hip to shoulder width stance. We're going to have that right hand up, nice and high. I'm going to drive that right hand through. Left hand comes up and over. We're just trying to get as much movement in the scapula as we can. Good. Nice and easy. Good. Speed should be matching mine. Reverse directions. Just go backwards. Good. Keep going. Excellent. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Now I want to work on shoulder extension. So I'm going to turn to the side here. I'm going to have both hands facing away from my body. Now as we do this, you want to make sure we keep control of the shoulder. We don't want the shoulder to anteriorly rotate, and we don't want shrugging. We want to keep the shoulders down, packed nice and easy. So I'm going to go with a roughly hip width stance. Toes are forward. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. My hands are right outside my hips. So palms are facing away. I'm going to keep my arms straight. So I'm going to lock my elbows out. And then I want to drive my shoulders down towards the floor. So I'm pushing the stick down. Now from here, I'm going to pull the stick apart, about 30% tension. Again, this is just a warm up. And then I'm going to pull that stick away. Drive it back. Hold. We're only at 30% tension here. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Ease off. Good. Let's go 2 more here. Squeeze the glutes. Drive the stick down towards the floor. Pull apart. Drive back. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Back in. Ease off. Let's go one more time, folks. Drive the stick down. Pull apart. Drive back. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. And take a second. Now, let's go ahead and get into the macebell work. So, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing that 10 to 2. However, the hard part about this one is actually going to be the hand switching. So, grab whatever macebell, or even if you happen to have a kettlebell, you can kind of still work with that same move. Just doing a halo and then lunging, going to the side. Now with the macebell, again, the tricky thing is your hand movement and where you're placing your hands and switching, right? So let's actually practice the 10 to 2 first, and then we'll build into the side lunge as well, right? So I'm gonna take the macebell, so I'm gonna go with a relatively wide stance, shoulder width or even wider, depending on what's most comfortable for you. My left hand's at the end of the macebell. I'm gonna grab the neck with my right. I'm gonna stand up and start with it in this 2 o'clock position. Slide my right hand down and swing. That's 1, 2, 3. Make sure you pull those hands down to the belly button. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to place it down. We're going to switch hands here. So now left hand's going to be stacked over the right. Grab the neck. Come to the 10 o'clock position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Good. Take a second. Just kind of warming up here. Now, for the side lunge or progressing into it, what we're going to do is we're actually going to work on sliding the hand up towards the neck of the macebell here. So if I'm going to start with my left hand down, and we're just going to work on swinging and sliding the hand just so we kind of get used to that motion. Start with my right hand at the neck here. Going to come up to that 2 o'clock position, come up, and I want to pull down. So I'm pulling into a position where I'm keeping the macebell tight, almost like I'm starting off, right? Go up to that 10 o'clock position, swing, bring the right hand. So I'm pulling with the left into this position. Swing, pull, good. Swing, pull. I'm actively pulling in the entire time. Good. Let's go a couple more here. Just practicing that motion. Good. Let's go one more time each side. Last one. Good. Now we're going to add in that side lunge. So if I'm pulling with that left hand, sliding my right hand up to the neck, we're lunging to the left, tapping that right side down. So the hand slide is going to be, again, where that becomes a little bit more challenging. So from here, start at the 2, swing, pull, lunge to the right, touch it into the floor, back up, swing, lunge to the left, touch that into the floor. And I want you guys to keep it almost like a 2-part movement, just to keep it nice and smooth. Good. Lunge. There we go. So it's almost similar to a lunge matrix, except we're only going laterally. Touch. Good. Let's go one more time the other side. Good. Place it down. Take a minute. Now, we're going to do that again. We're going to try to do 10 per side, right? So it's going to be 10 touches each way. Find a way to make a little bit of space. Try not to hit the sticks over here. But yes, you do need a little bit of space here. Go whatever pace it feels good for you. If you can make that movement a little smoother by just combining it all into one movement, do so. But again, go whatever you can manage. If you need to make it a two-part movement, then do that. I'm gonna start with my right hand at the base, left hand's gonna be at the neck here. Come on to that 2 o'clock position, swing here. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Good. Ease off. All right, now we're gonna switch into the uppercut drill, almost kind of like we're creating an infinity symbol. Now, the starting position is going to be a little weird, so we're actually gonna put the macebell to the side, just for now. We're actually gonna use a stick just to practice the motion. Now, the top hand, and we're gonna be switching hands here, by the way. That top hand is gonna be facing away while the bottom hand is facing in. So, positioning is gonna be here. Sorry. Move that over to the side a little bit. Now go with the wide stance, roughly shoulder width. We are going to be pivoting each foot as we go through, right? Almost like we're throwing a punch, right? If I'm throwing a punch, if I'm throwing a right out, I'm going to pivot and rotate that right hip and foot in. It's going to be kind of that same motion. So I'm going to start with my left hand up top here, right hand roughly around belly button height. So left hand in front of my face, right hand around belly button height here. You can increase or decrease the distance depending on you. Now from here, I'm actually going to start with driving my right hand out. Now as I do that, notice my right hand's pivoting, or my right foot is pivoting here, right? And then from here, I'm going to almost uppercut and bring that left hand through. The stick is vertical, right? Then I'm going to come back to that starting position. So from here, right hand up, left hand, good, and then back to that starting position. Right hand up, left hand, back to that starting position. Let's go again. Right hand up, left hand, back to that starting position. We're not pushing or pulling on the stick. We're just trying to go through that motion, get used to it. We're gonna switch hands, so right hand is facing away, effectively internally rotate on this right. Left hand here. We're gonna do that same thing. Now we're going reverse direction. So I'm gonna drive that left hand up and out first, pivoting that left foot, then switch. Good. Back to starting position. Left hand up. Right hand comes through.
Sorry.
Back to starting position. Sorry. Yeesh. Sorry about that. Left hand up and through. Right hand. Good. And then back to center. Now we're going to take the macebell. We do that same thing. The weight is going to be at the top, right, from that initial grip here. So on my right hand, again, left hand is down. You want to make sure that you are actually, if you want to make it challenging, you can have your hands closer, right? That just lengthens a lever. If you want a little bit more control, choke up on it a little bit more or create more distance between the hands. So I'm going to start my right hand up, I'm gonna drive that left hand through, rotate that left foot, right, or pivot. Now I'm gonna drive that right hand through, pivot. Good. Back to starting position. Left, right, back to start, left, right, back to start, left, right, back to the starting position, one more time, left, and right. Back to starting position, good. Now we're gonna switch sides. So now we're gonna start with the right hand. So right hand up, left hand, back to start, right, left, back to start, right, left, back to start, right, left, back to the start. Let's go again. Right hand, left hand, back to center, one more time, right, and left. Back to start, and ease off, take a second. So we're getting rotation, we're getting a little bit of spiral lines, we're getting the shoulders to work. You should be feeling those obliques kicking in a little bit here as we go through that pivoting and rotation. As we pivot, we're not just turning the foot, we're getting the hip and everything to really work into it. So if your obliques aren't necessarily working, you might not be rotating in the right way. But you'll get it as we go along here. So we're gonna switch back. Right hand up top, left hand down. Start the left, left hand through, right hand comes through, back to center, one, left, right, it's two, left, right, three, left, right, four, one more, left, and right, five, good. We're gonna switch, right, left, that's one, right, left, two, right, left, three, right, left, four, right, and left, five. Excellent, and ease off. Wonderful. Now, I just want to finish off with one last drill. We're going to work on the hips here. So we're going to do hip flexion and extension to a single leg RDL. We're only going to hold that extension part just for a second. We're not going to hold for 5 or 8 seconds. All right? So I'm going to have both feet together. Both sticks are angled in towards my toes. I'm going to have my hands roughly a little lower than shoulder height here, just so when we get into the single leg RDL, it's a little bit, the hands are in a good position. So from here, arms are straight, shoulders down, drive both sticks down. I'm going to pick my right foot up off the floor. Do not let that right foot touch the floor. Right leg up, extend, back in, and then go into an RDL. Hold, back up, extend, good, into an RDL. Good, up, extend, back into an RDL. Good, let's go 2 more. Up, extend, into an RDL. 4, one more time. Up, extend, into an RDL. That's 5, and ease off. Now we're going to switch sides. So right foot is going to be down, left foot is up. Bring your left knee up, extend, go into the RDL. Good. 1, extend, That's 2. Good, knee up. Extend. 3. Excellent, let's go 2 more here. Extend. 4. One more time. Up. Extend. Into that RDL. And that's 5. Good. Ease off. Excellent. Now let's go ahead and get into the cool down and the stretching. So I'm going to take the pad. You need a pad for us to kneel on here. And we're going to start with stretching out the hip flexors. Now I'm going to start my right leg forward, left knee is down. And that back foot, I want that ankle plantar flex. So I'm extending the ankle. And I'm going to have the bottom of both sticks roughly in line with the arch or heel of that front leg here. Now from this position, I'm going to have both hands roughly about shoulder height. I'm going to drive both sticks down about 20%. I'm going to drive my back foot into the floor. I'm going to tuck I'm going to do a posterior pelvic tilt, squeeze that left glute. This might already feel like a stretch on the front of that hip here. We're going to hold that position. Make sure that left glute is tight. Breathe. Excellent. Ease off. We're going to go again. This time we're going to shift forward to get a little more of a stretch here. So drive both sticks down, drive the back foot into the floor, tuck the pelvis, squeeze that left glute. Now we're going to shift our hips forward. You still want to maintain spinal position here. Make sure you're breathing. Excellent. Bring it back in, nice and slow, ease off. Now we're going to switch sides. So now left leg is forward, right foot is back. So drive both sticks down, about 10 to 20%. Drive the back foot into the floor. Posterior tilt and squeeze your right glute. Breathe. Nice deep breaths here. And ease off. Now we're going to shift forward. So drop both sticks down, drive the back foot into the floor, tuck your pelvis, squeeze your glute, and shift your hips forward a bit. Only sink forward as much as you can, controlling your pelvis. If you can't hold the posterior tilt, you're going a little bit too far into that range of motion, so you can always back out of it a bit. 3, 2, 1, excellent. Slowly come out and ease off. We're going to place one stick down, and we're going to get into the Guitar Hero stretch. So I'm going to bring my left foot out. The bottom of the stick is going over to the opposite way of my leg here. Now, we want to make sure that you're actively driving that left knee back. So we're trying to open that hip up so we can really access the groin tissues here. I'm going to have my left hand at the end of the stick here. My back foot, plantar flex. So I'm still extending the ankle. From here, I'm going to drive my left leg out first. So you should be feeling that left glute fire a bit. And then I'm going to sink into that left hip and drive that right hand down towards the floor here. Breathe. Good. Slowly come out. Excellent. Rotate the stick a bit. And then we're going to do that again. So actively drive that left leg, left hip out. Sink into that left hip. Drive that right hand down. You're actively going to pull up reflexively with that left hand. You really feel the groin tissues really start to open up here. 3, 2, 1, excellent, and ease off. We're going to switch sides. So I'm actually going to show this from the side here. because what we don't want is to be in this hinge position. We want to try to be as upright as we can as we go into this stretch. Right hand's at the end of the stick. Left hand's on roughly around where your belly button is. Plantar flex. So again, you want to actively drive this right knee out. I'm going to sink into it, and then drive that left hand down towards the floor. So you want to try to remain as upright as you can to really active to get into those groin tissues. Breathe. Excellent. Slowly come out. Wonderful. Rotate the stick a bit. We're going to go into it again. So drive that right knee back. Sink into it. Then drive that left hand down. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And ease off. Nice and slow. We're going to stand up here. Don't need the pad anymore. We're going to grab the second long stick. We're going to go with a double hang here. We're going to add in a little bit of rotation. Now, for the double hang, you do want to keep a pretty even distribution of weight in your legs and your hands. So I'm going to start my right leg forward. Sticks are behind my right heel. I'm going to have both hands up at the top of the sticks here. I'm going to wiggle my left foot back a little further. Then I'm going to drop down into a hang. Hold here. Now I'm going to actively push the sticks into the floor lightly. Get a little bit of shoulder activation here. Then I'm going to rotate towards my front leg. And then right. Rotate. Just going to floss. Back and forth. Back to center. Come out and switch. Now the movement is not coming from the hips, right? The movement's coming from that T-spine. So the movement might be really, really small. That's okay. All right. The movement doesn't need to be big here. So wiggle that right foot back. Gonna sink down into it. Drive the sticks into the floor. Rotate towards your front leg. Good. Then away. Breathe. Rotate. Excellent. Back to center. Come up and ease off. Wonderful. Now we're going to go with a relatively wide, pretty wide stance here, not super wide. And we're going to have the bottom of the sticks on the inside of both legs here. Now both hands are going to be roughly around face height. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sink my hips back, drive my hands out to really get that T-spine stretch. And then I'm going to open up, really stretch all those anterior tissues. So from here, I'm going to lightly drive the sticks into the floor, roughly about 20%. Then I'm going to sink my hips back, reach out with both hands, and I'm bringing the hands together. So you should be feeling a pretty big stretch in that upper back. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, then open up, reaching back with my hands, keeping those glutes tight. Excellent. I'm going to bring the sticks back forward. Squeeze those glutes. Come up. Drive those hands back. Good. Bring the hands forward again. Last one. Really reach out. Squeeze the glutes. Excellent. And ease off. Wonderful. We're going to place one stick down. We're gonna get into a slap shot. Then we're gonna get into stretching out the neck and the traps. So I'm gonna take the stick, place it behind my mid back here. I'm gonna take a pretty wide stance. We're gonna be lunging side to side here. Now from here, have my feet slightly angled out. I'm gonna hinge back, and I'm gonna rotate that left end of the stick down. Now I'm gonna actually try to get a little bit across my midline here, and I'm gonna pull the stick apart, so you should be getting a little bit more rotation. And I'm gonna lunge to my left, driving off my right leg. I'm gonna lunge to my right, driving off my left leg. And as I sink in to that lunge to the right, you should be feeling good stretching that left adductor. Lunge to the left. Breathe. Now to the right. Left. And right. Back to center. Now we're going to switch sides. So rotate the right end down. Same thing, pull apart. Keep that nice tension in the upper back. Lunge to the right. Left. Drive off that right leg. And it's okay if that bottom arm bends. Right. Left. One more time each way. Right. And left. Back to center. Come out. Squeeze the glutes to stand up. Wiggle your feet in. Now, we're still going to use the same stick, and we're going to go back to that same hand placement and position as we did when we did shoulder extension drill. I'm gonna have both hands down. My hands are outside of my hips here. And I wanna keep my arms straight. Now we're really focusing on the trap neck area. So from here, I'm gonna keep my arms straight. I'm gonna drive the stick going down towards the floor here. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my chin back, almost like I'm trying to create a double chin here. Lightly pull the stick apart. And then I'm gonna tilt my left ear towards my left shoulder, and I'm going to actively drive that right shoulder down away from my right ear. So I'm trying to create as much space between my right ear and right shoulder as I can. And we're going to come back up to center, go to the opposite side, driving that left shoulder down. Back to center, tilt to the left again. Driving that right shoulder down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate our head. Still keeping that tilt. I'm gonna rotate my chin down towards my left shoulder and then rotate it away from my left shoulder. Rotate down, up, down, and up. Back to center. Now we're going to go the opposite side. Tilt. Rotate down. Excellent. Rotate up. Down. Up. One more time. Down. And up. Back to center. Come up. And ease off. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you for joining. I hope everybody had a good class today. Working with the macebells, we're going to try to get a lot better at them. But I will be sure to catch y'all next week. And as usual, have a good weekend, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later.